From America's heartland, it's Prodigy Bowlers Tour, celebrating junior bowling and elevating junior bowlers. Today, episode 166, the 2024 Kansas City Open April Point Tournament. 5 players have qualified for the TV finals, but only one will be crowned the champion in Division 5 today. Here are the 5 finalists. Bowling in the first match is the number 5 qualifier, Zoe Turner of Chanute, Kansas. She'll face the 4th qualifier, Aiden York of Grain Valley, Missouri. The winner of that match will challenge the number 3 qualifier, Lillian Fuhr of Plattsburgh, Missouri. That winner will advance to face the 2 seed, Shane Schonifer of Chanute, Kansas, going for a three-peat today. And the winner of that match will bowl for the title against Curtis Jones of DeSoto, Kansas. He's our tournament leader. One of these 5 promising young bowlers will claim top honors in Division 5 today at the Kansas City Open and will sign the coveted trophy pin on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Standing in the front lawn on Spruce Street to greet bowlers coming to Crown Lanes is Rex the Dinosaur. He's been here since the property was Kittyland, long before the bowling center was built. But for decades, bowlers in Leavenworth, Kansas have come to see Rex and to test their skill here at Crown Lanes, where today an overflow field has come to test their games at the Kansas City Open April Point Tournament. As always, the KCO stages competition in 5 average base divisions. Division 1 is comprised of the bowlers with averages of 200 and higher, and they bowl scratch. You'll see them compete on our next episode. Division 2 is the bowlers with averages of 180 to 199. Division 3 is made up of the bowlers with averages 160 to 179. Division 4 is the bowlers with averages 140 to 159. And today, we're bringing you the championship round of Division 5, consisting of the bowlers with averages of 139 and lower. Divisions 2 through 5 bowl handicap, equal to 90% of the difference between their entering average and the top of their division. In this case, the top of Division 5 is 139. We have 4 players making their first appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour today, and Lily Fuhr. She appeared on our very first monthly telecast in September 2022 in Olathe, and she was on the Adult Youth Doubles show from Belton, Missouri 1 year ago in 2023. She sits in the number 3 position today. Of course, in the KCO Point Tournaments, players bowl 6 games of qualifying, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon. Here's how the qualifying round went down in Division 5. The scores you see all have their handicap added in. And as you can see, Curtis Jones got off to a fast start with a 193 out of the gate. And after a little fall off in Game 2, he bounced back with a big score in Game 3 to take control. But Aiden York refused to be left behind in a cloud of dust as he kept pouring on some solid games of his own to stay close. Shane Schonifer was also hanging close. Lily Fuhr started slow, but then bounced back and got herself in the mix. And look at Briley Walschlager Monty. She was inside the cut line hoping for a solid afternoon round. Zoe Turner was on the outside looking in at 7th place, but Division 5 was our smallest division this month with just 10 entries out of 115 total in the KCO field. So the Division 5 players who got into the tournament had a 50-50 chance of making the stepladder. And following the afternoon round, sure enough, Zoe Turner made the big move from 7th to 5th. That 200 game she rolled in her 6th and final game sure helped. Shane Schonifer and Lily Fuhr both moved up a spot, and Aiden slipped down from 2nd to 4th. Briley Welschlager-Monty just missed the cut by 13 pins. That's one spare in 6 games. I'll bet she can think back to 1 or 2 spares she could have made that would have made all the difference. But that's how the cookie crumbled today. And now it's time to get this party started as our 5 seed, Zoe Turner, takes on our 4 seed, Aiden York. A little bit of age difference between these two players. Zoe Turner is 15 years old. Aiden York is just 11. And he's only been bowling for about 10 months. But as the higher qualifier, he had the option of whether to start the match or let Zoe lead off, and Aiden wants to throw the first ball, so he'll start on the left lane. As you can see, he's getting 25 pins of handicap. And his opening ball goes right through the heart. Could have been a split, but as it is, he leaves just the 6 pin. Got a little wiggle out of it. It could have gone. Aiden's high game, a 205. His high series, a 467. Oh, and he just hooks by the 6 pin. So that's an open frame to start. Now you see we've added his 25 pins of handicap into his score right there in the first frame. So you don't have to add a thing. It's all factored into the scores. Now Zoe Turner from Chanute, Kansas. And look at that one. An impressive opening toss. Right in the pocket. High flush. Watch it again. 4-step approach. Pretty simple game. Nice straight arm swing. You couldn't have walked down there and placed it any better. Ooh, that could have been a double, but the trip 4 eludes her this time. Zoe's high game, a 222, and her high series, a 627. She's been bowling since she was 5. Hooks in there like it had eyes. Covers the 4 pin, so it's a 14 pin advantage for Aiden York at the moment, thanks to that handicap. And now he moves over to the right lane. Well, he doesn't get that one quite far enough to the right. The hook's past the head pin, and now he's got a tricky one. The 1-3-8. Really, the best way to convert this is to throw a straight ball from the left side of the lane like this. But he plays it down the right side of the lane, and it doesn't get up and hit the head pin. So that's back-to-back opens to start. And his 25 pins of handicap is all but squandered in just 2 frames. So if he's going to win this match, he's going to have to do it pretty much on his own. Well, you could see that ball get out to the dry part of the lane. We bowl on the house shot at the KCO. And after 6 games of qualifying by everyone in the field, the outsides are pretty dry, and when you get the ball out there early, it hooks early. And that time he didn't get quite the same axis rotation on it, so it didn't hook enough. So 3 opens to start. That's not what Aiden had in mind. And Zoe takes the lead sitting on the bench. She is bowling in just her second KCO. She finished 8th at the March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament. Look at this. That's 2 strikes in a row on the right lane that just were high flush. Watch it again. In good position at the release. Nice straight follow through. Good balance. You do enough things right and good things will happen. Oh, man. Well, you do enough things right and sometimes you get punished in this silly game. Couldn't have thrown that one much better. A stone 9 is her reward. But an easy spare. Just stand about a board or 2 to the left of your strike position. Throw it over your strike target. And you'll cover the 9. So, strike spare for Zoe to start. On pace for a Dutch 200. Still a ways to go, though. Now Aiden up on the right lane looking for his first mark of the match. And he crosses over for his first strike. And when you're desperate to get a strike, you take him however you can get him. Watch it again. Watch his right elbow. Kind of flares out away from his body. You see how the ball should be under his head, but it's way out to the right because his right elbow has flared out. We call that the chicken wing. And nothing good ever comes of that unless you get a lucky break like he just did. Keep that elbow in tight to your body, Aiden. Well, that's what happens when you don't. Oh my goodness, he gets another lucky break. Well, watch this. That ball is just going to tick the head pin enough for it to go to the right wall and come back and get the 6, 9, and 10. But that ball went left because his right elbow flew out to the right. Well, Zoe pulls that strike attempt. And it goes through the nose, and she's lucky to get 8. Leaving just the 6, 9. That could have been a split or most anything. She moves to the left. Will go cross lane at the spare. And she covers it perfectly. Well, on the strength of that double that Aiden got in the 4th and 5th, he is leading by 4 pins, despite 3 opens in a row. Boy, oh boy, that one looked like it might have been a little too far to the right, but she got enough fingers on it to bring it back. And that is a solid strike by Zoe Turner in the 6th frame, and she'll take it. Now let's see if Aiden can keep this ball to the right side of the head pin. Find the pocket this time. You see, when he lets it go, it looks like he's trying to twirl his right arm and hand around the ball. He doesn't understand yet exactly how hook happens with a bowling ball. He leaves the 1, 3, 6, 9. Here's how you make it. Put that ball light on the head pin, so that it's pretty straight on with the 3. Look out. Rather than twirling your hand around the ball, you want your hand to come up the back of the ball, the back right of the ball at least. Keep the palm of your hand facing the pins. You don't want it facing the left wall. That one cuts through the nose and he leaves a split, the 310 baby split. And the way you make this is you just fit the ball right between the 3 and the 10. From the left side of the lane like this, hit the right side of the 3 pin, the ball will deflect over into the 10. Oh, he gets it on the other side. We don't coach it that way, but every once in a while you get away with it. Watch this. It crosses over to the left side of the 3 pin and knocks it right into the 10. Mark it down as a spare. All right, Zoe up on the right lane. Tell you what, she looks pretty solid to me. I have to admit I have not seen her bowl before until today. Of course, she's only bowled in the 1 KCO prior to this one. And that KCO that she bowled in March, the adult youth doubles tournament at Aaron's Family Fun Center in Belton, Missouri, her partner was Michael Strack. Michael, one of the KCO board members, and in fact, he's the one who is overseeing this match. You may see his face. He's wearing a green shirt like all the KCO board members are doing this season. They made a pretty formidable pair. Look out. Well, that one got away from her. So an open frame. And guess what? That tightens this match considerably. Aiden now trailing by only 3 pins. And once again, he's just letting that right elbow leak away from his body. When that happens, it puts the hand on the extreme right side of the ball. That's not where you want it. You want the hand behind the ball. The 1-3-9, you got to put the ball light on the head pin. If you hit solid in the pocket, you'll hook past and miss the 9. Like that. So an open frame, and the lead is now 17 for Zoe as we get down to the final 2 frames of this match. The winner will advance to face our 3 seed, Lillian Fuhr, who you've seen on Prodigy at least a couple of times before, 2 or 3 times. Well, crosses over, leaves a makeable spare, the 6-10. You know, this young fellow has only been bowling for 10 months. I'd say he's doing all right for himself at this stage of things. This is his first step ladder. In fact, he's bowling in his first KCO this season today. Oh, and it just hooks a little too far past the 6-10. He sends the 6 around the 10. That's an open frame. And now Zoe really in the driver's seat, leading by 28 as she steps up in the 9th frame. Hold it. Boy, she went right through the nose. That could have been a split. But she breaks it down to just the 3-pin. This would be big if she can make it. And she does. So Zoe can put this match away with good count on this ball. The best Aiden can do is 171 with 3 strikes in the 10th. Zoe needs about 6 pins, I believe, if I'm doing the math in my head correctly. This ought to do it. That will do it. So Zoe Turner is advancing to match 2. She rips the rack with that first ball in the 10th. Watch it again. That ball right under her head. This is just the way we teach it. Close to her ankle. She's in almost ideal position right there. Would I like to see her hand a little bit more behind the ball rather than on top of it and to the right? Absolutely. She'd get more power, a more penetrating roll on the ball if she could get her hand a little more behind it. But guess what? That's a double in the 10th. And any questions? One more strike in the 10th, and she has 199. Here's her footwork. 4-step approach, tiny little first step, short second step. She's a planter, not a slider. But that sweeps him right off the pin deck. Well, she pulled that one, but she gets away with it, carries a Brooklyn, and that's a 199 for her opening match and her debut appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. I'd say that's pretty good. Remember, these Division 5 players all have averages of 139 and lower. Well, that was actually a better shot than some that Aiden has thrown this match, but the ball deflected off the pocket and misses the 5 as it goes by, and he's left with the 5-8-10. When he gets a little bigger, a little stronger, and he's throwing a little heavier bowling ball, you won't see many 5-10s. Ooh, he gives it a ride. A good attempt, but that's an open frame to finish in a 150 game as he bows to Zoe Turner. Zoe moves on to match 2. Her next opponent, Lily Fuhr. We'll have that match for you right after this. For a kid who just picked up bowling a few months ago, you got to think Aiden York should be pretty pleased with himself after making the stepladder finals. Sure, he's got a long way to go, but you got to start somewhere, and this will prove to be an excellent learning experience for him. And for Zoe Turner, a solid start to her first championship round appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. And now she's climbed the stepladder and will face Lily Fuhr, who's making her 3rd appearance on Prodigy. Lily was on our very first Division 5 telecast back in September of 2022. And then at the March 2023 Adult Youth Doubles, she and her partner were the #1 seeds. Lily has shown steady improvement and now looks to take that next step. An interesting contrast in styles and mentalities between these two. While I'm sure Lily wants to win, she seems to be more about having fun bowling, while Zoe displays a bit more of the nature of a fiery competitor. So it'll be interesting to see how these two girls react to what awaits them in this next match. Lily, being the higher qualifier, had the choice of starting lanes. She has elected to let Zoe start the match. Zoe pulls that shot a little bit, crosses over, leaves the 6-10. Well, as I mentioned earlier, she's bowling in just her second KCO today. Her mom is the one that got her started bowling all those years ago. Oh, and that one slides by the 6-pin. She chops the 10 off. So an open frame to begin. Both of these girls with averages bumping up against the top of the division, which is 139. So neither one of them getting any pins in handicap. So we have essentially a scratch match here. And Lily Fuhr crossing over and missing the head pin, leaving the 1-3-6-10. And I'll tell you what, this spare is no bargain. You throw it like a strike ball, put it in the 1-3 pocket, and hope that the 3 gets the 6, the 6 gets the 10. And she executes it perfectly. Boy, that's just the way you draw it up. The group to our left on lanes 1 and 2, that's Division 4. The group to our right on lanes 5 and 6, that's Division 3. And we'll tell you how their stepladder played out at the end of the show. Lily with a different ball that time. It hooked a little bit more. And goes Brooklyn, just leaves the 10-pin, wiggling and wobbling and waving back at her just to let her know that it's still there. Look at this. Lily has learned to throw the backup at her right side spares. I'm very impressed. So Zoe Turner moves over to the right lane to try to make amends for that open in the first frame. That looked pretty good off her hand. I think maybe she's standing just a little too far to the right. When you bowl on the house shot, the boards on the outside of the lane are drier than the boards in the middle of the lane. So if you stand far enough to the right where you lay the ball down on the dry boards, well, that ball's going to want to hook immediately as soon as it hits the floor. Move left and feather that ball out to the right just a little bit so that it'll skid through the heads, the front part of the lane, and then it'll find the friction on the outside of the lane and start to work its way back. And then, of course, the back end of the lane is all dry, so it'll keep on hooking. How you play the lane will dictate, to a large degree, how high or how low your scores are. You got to play the lanes properly. Well, that time she never really found the dry part of the lane. The ball just hydroplaned through the oil, never got into a hook. And now she's left with a pretty tricky little spare, the 2-4-8. It's a little easier without the 5-pin, which is how you usually see the bucket. But she covers it beautifully. So she stays within striking distance of Lily Fuhr, who has a couple of spares to start. Oh, my goodness. Well, Lily makes that gold ball sing. That was stone solid perfect in the pocket, but she leaves a solid 7. And covers it. Oh, Lily Fure has become a spare-making machine. Tell you what, when we first met her, she appeared on our very first Division 5 show when we kicked off the 2022-23 season in September of 22. And she was still recovering from an injury. Look at this crossover strike. Lily was recovering from an injury that she had suffered on a trampoline, and she has 3 screws in her arm that I guess she will have to live with the rest of her life. And there were times she couldn't even put her fingers in the ball. She was just palming the ball with no fingers in the ball at all that day. So I gotta applaud her just for being out here bowling. Meanwhile, Zoe in the pocket with that hit, but leaves the 10 pin. She moves way over to the left side of the lane. She'll go over about the center arrow right at the 10. Oh, she pulled it. She knew it as soon as it came off her hand. Missed that one well to the left. And Lily's lead now grows to 24 pins. Well, and once again, Zoe standing far enough to the left that she laid it down in the oil, but she didn't swing it out to the right so that it could pick up and read the friction. So it just kind of skidded through the lane and never got into a good roll on the back end, just barely touching the head pin. Lucky to get 9, but she's left with just the 2 pin. Easy spare. And she covers it without breaking a sweat. But she has given Lily Fure a pretty sizable lead to run with. Look out. Oh, man. That one was peeking into the gutter. Talk about living on the edge. Watch this. I don't think we'll quite be able to see how close the ball gets to the gutter. Her head kind of blocks the shot, but you see how the ball isn't quite under her head. It's away from her body. If she would keep her elbow in closer, she'd be in better shape. And you see the distance between the ball and the floor. I'd like to see her bend her knee a little bit more so that she could let that ball go a little closer to the ground. But goodness gracious, you can't argue with the results of that shot. She almost got another one, but that one was just a pinch high. Almost tripped the floor, but she'll have to shoot it. And she covers it up. The lead is now 33 pins. And Zoe has half the match to make that up. But she'll have to get busy. Oh, man. That was another good ball. Not rewarded. The stone 9. This is how you leave the stone 9. Watch this. The ball should deflect off the 1-3 to the right, but instead what happens is it cuts through without much deflection and takes the 5 right off the 9. Just like that. Easy spare. Oh, she pulled it. She pulled it left. That's two of those. And she throws her chamois down on the table. It flies down to the floor. She is not a happy camper right now. I think we can see why she pulled it. See how her right shoulder has outraced her left? Her right shoulder is in front of her left shoulder. You can tell because her left elbow and left hand are behind her left hip. When the right shoulder gets to the foul line ahead of the left shoulder, you're going to pull the shot every single time. She did it again. Almost got away with it that time. But it looks like that's what happens to her when she pulls those shots. She's just letting her right shoulder outrace her left. That's got a hook. Well, a little overcorrection maybe. But whatever the cause, Lily is in the driver's seat with a 57-pin lead as she bowls in the 7th. Well, she didn't quite get the fingers on that one. It doesn't get back. She leaves the 1-2-4. The best way to make this is move your feet about 3 or 4 boards to the right of your strike position. Throw your strike ball over your strike target. Let it drift to the Brooklyn side. She almost did it. But that one, she just didn't throw it out far enough to the right, and so it hooked past the head pin. But she's still comfortably out ahead of Zoe. 43-pin lead. Ooh, good break. Getting the 10-pin to fall. No baby split here, just the 3. Just move a board or 2 left of your strike position and throw your strike shot. Just like that. Well, I got to say, in all the times I've watched Lily Fewer bowl, she's bowling better right now than any time I've watched her. She has made some improvements. Now, Zoe Turner, time to get busy. Another pull. But she gets the Brooklyn. It's not how, it's how many. You can spend all the time you want in practice getting all these fundamentals down. And she's in pretty good shape. The ball right by her ankle. You see her right shoulder has outraced her left once again. That's why she pulled it. But you can't be thinking too much about these mechanics when you're bowling. You just got to figure out a way to get the pins to go down. That time she just pulled the ball down from the top. You saw her hands go up in exasperation. She don't know why this is happening, but she's going to find out when she sees this video. You can't pull the ball down from the top. That will almost surely cause your right shoulder to get ahead of your left. You got to let gravity initiate the downswing. Wait for the ball. Wait for gravity to start the downswing. Uh-oh. Well, with baseball season upon us, I guess we can score that as a wild pitch. And Lily can just about walk this one home blindfolded. That's a winner. That's enough. Best Zoe can do is 146. That's 6 count by Lily. gets her past 146. So she's going to move on to our next match. But before she does, she's going to take a crack at the 510. How about it? Oh! Well, you can't get any closer without making it. A great try. Watch this. Cuts it so thin it goes in front of the 10. Well, a crossover leaves the 3-6-9. Not a spare you would want to have to make to win a match. But she's got this one already salted away. Well, a ball that would hook a little more on the back end might have covered that, but instead it's an open frame. But a 169 is more than she needs this match, as Zoe can't quite get there. But I'll tell you what, Zoe may have come up a little short in this second match, but she had some real nice moments on the show today that she can look back on and see that she's got some talent. A couple of things she can work on. How about a double here in the 10th? Good shot in the pocket. We'd call that a nice commercial shot. Leaves the 10. Once again, she moves to the extreme left-hand side of the approach. We'll go cross lane at the 10. Conversion will give her 136. That one is in the moat. 135 the final for Zoe. And she will head home with a fourth place finish here at the KCO today. It's Lily Feuer who's moving on to try to stop Shane Schoenhofer from a three-peat. Can she do it? We'll find out. A bit of emotion flowing out of Zoe Turner following her loss to Lily Fuhr. But I honestly don't think Zoe's tears were so much over losing as much as they were her perception that she didn't bowl up to the standards she had set for herself, especially in front of the Prodigy cameras and the national audience. But what Zoe doesn't yet know is just how supportive Prodigy Land is of the kids who appear on the show. And hopefully she'll find just enough inspiration from the coaching nuggets I dropped along the path to enable her to go back to work on improving her game. I think she's got some potential, and I love the fact that losing does not sit well with her. She will only get better. But today it's Lily Fuhr who is advancing to match 3, and her task doesn't get any easier. Shane Shonifer is arguably the hottest bowler in the KCO field. He's already won 3 times this season, including the last 2 KCO events, so he's going for the rare three-peat. But he'll have to get past a much improved Lily Fuhr if he wants to advance into the championship match to face our tournament leader, Curtis Jones. But one of these 2 will be there. Which one? Well, we're about to find out. Shane with a pretty good shot to start. Doesn't quite kick out the 10. As you see, he's getting 8 pins of handicap. Lily getting none, so pretty evenly matched pair here. And he pulls it. And the ball falls helplessly into the pit. 9 out. We add his 8 pins of handicap to that. That gives him 17 in the first. And that takes care of any handicap we had to deal with this match. Lily living dangerously once again out by the edge, but it hooks back. Cuts through the nose, and she leaves the 3-6. I think Lily, like so many youngsters we see, would benefit by learning to stay a little more behind the ball, kind of like that. So she obviously has it in her to do that. We saw her throw essentially a backup ball at the 10-pin earlier, so she's learned how to control her axis rotation a little bit. Now if she could just do that with her fingers in the holes. Wow. That thing really snaps hard on the back end. That's where she would benefit from staying just a little more behind it. The 3-6. Once again, this time with company, the 10-pin. Hook. Doesn't want a hook. So with that, she surrenders the lead. Shane takes command of the match while sitting on the bench, and after throwing only 1 frame. Well, you could see he turned around. He hated it as soon as it left his hand. Pulled it left, the 1-3-9. This young fellow, a bowling alley rat. His dad, Randy, owns the bowling center in Chanute, Kansas, where all these kids who are here from Chanute, they all bowl there. It's the only bowling center in town, I believe. Well, we saw that happen earlier. You come in a little too high in the pocket on the 1-3-9. You're going to leave the 9. You got to hit that head pin very thin in favor of the 3-pin. We are all even here once again after 2 frames. Shane and his dad Randy won the March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament in Belton, and Shane won the Division V title at the March Point Tournament. So he has a little string of 2 in a row going. He and his dad Randy also won the December Adult Youth Doubles Tournament. So Shane has 3 titles to his credit so far this season. That's the Brooklyn pocket right there. He almost stood a couple of them back up. But they all went down. Well, it looked to me like Lily stayed behind that one a little bit better. But it's still hooked left of the head pin. But she leaves just the 9. And she has proven herself to be a much improved spare shooter. I would think she would probably take care of the 9 pin, no problem. But not this time. She hooks past it. That's an unforced error, and back-to-back opens. Hands the lead back to Shane. Lily says she wants to be an animator when she grows up. That's pretty cool. Comes in a little thin with that one, leaving the 2-4-5. Says her best moment bowling was when she beat her older brother on the lanes. And I would imagine she did it with shots like that. Good cover of the 2-4-5. And now Shane Schonifer will try to build on his lead, working on a strike. He can extend it to 21 pins if he can catch a double. Shane Schonifer just turned 15 years old. Well, he pulled that one again, crosses over, leaves just the 5. And another one of these spares that I hesitate to say should be pretty simple. Just throw your strike ball. That'll take care of it. No problem. Shane doesn't play any other sports, but he does like to play video games. Honestly, what kid his age doesn't like to play video games? Oh, that's got a hook. Well, he got it out, but it just doesn't quite come back. I think he just sent that one a little wider than he would have liked. Once again, he kind of plays out there where he tends to lay the ball down in the dry. He could benefit by moving his feet left, laying it down more in the oily section of the lane, swinging it out a board or two, let it feather its way out into the dry section of the lane. This looks pretty good. Covers the 2-4-5. Crossing over, nearly got the 5-9 to go. The 5 fell out, but Lily leaves the 9. Both of these two players started bowling at the age of 5. So they've been at it a while. Lily's high game. She bowled it today in qualifying, a 226. She also bowled her all-time high series today in qualifying, a 546. But she is looking for her first tournament win at the KCO. Today might be her day. If she throws enough shots like that, it will be her day. That was 10 in the pit. Watch this one again. Over the fourth arrow, out to about 7 or 8, and boom. All right, Shane still has a 9-pin lead. Pulled it again. Right through the nose. That could have been a wide open split. He gets away with it. Leaves just the 10. As it looks like he's having a few words with his coach. That would be his dad, Randy. Now you see him turn around as soon as it comes off his hand. He knows he missed left. And I think with Shane, his problem might be a little different than what we saw with Zoe earlier. It doesn't look to me like his right shoulder is out racing his left. He just, when he's shooting cross lane from the left side of the lane at the right corner, you need to orient your feet, your hips, and your shoulders slightly to the right to get that ball swinging on the proper trajectory. Another crossover there. And he's mystified. Shane, I think if you just move your feet 2 or 3 boards to the left, lay that ball down on some oily boards instead of the dry boards, it won't hook immediately as soon as it hits the floor. And you see he's playing this from the center of the lane. And it slips off his hand and it runs right into the moat. And he's not happy. I get it. But now Lily, working on a strike, can really take command. And she gets the Brooklyn to go. That'll push her lead all the way out to 24 pins as we're down to the final 3 frames. Ball doesn't get quite far enough to the right to have a chance to find the pocket, but she gets a Brooklyn, and those count just as much. Now that ball was pretty close to the pocket. Just a wee bit high. Leaves the 4-7. She's been pretty solid on these left side spares today. But that time, ball doesn't quite get up. Sends the 4 around the 7. It's an open, and now what looked like a commanding lead for Lily is down to just 10 pins. And she's just let Shane Schonifer right back into the match. And he's looking for his first strike since the 3rd frame. This would be a great time to get it. Well, once again, it hooks early, but it hooks right to the Brooklyn pocket, and Shane gets away with one. And boy, would he love to get another one here. Watch it again. See where the ball is hitting the floor on about the 8th board. It's dry out there. So the ball's going to hook as soon as it hits the floor. He needs to move left where he's laying it down on the wet boards. Same deal there. He just won't move. Not sure why. Maybe he's just not comfortable moving. A lot of these kids nowadays, instead of moving their feet, they think if they just grab a different ball. But that's not how the game is played. You got to play the lanes correctly. You can't dictate to the lanes where you're going to play it. You got to play the lanes where the lane tells you to play it. And once again, if he will move left with his feet, play this cross lane, it's a little better. If you're not used to it, though, it can trick your eyes. And once again, he sent, oh, it almost hung on. But into the gutter it falls, and another open frame. And now Lily Fuhr, it's green light for Lily right here. 2 frames to go. She leads by 22. Ball doesn't quite get back. She gave it plenty of room to the right. We've seen the 2-4-5 a few times today, and actually, I think for the most part, these kids have covered it, I believe, every time we've seen it. And Lily gets it again. So the situation is this. Shane Schoenhofer with 3 strikes in the 10th can shoot 158. Lily can pass that with a strike here. And down they go, and winner, winner, chicken dinner. That gives her 160 if she throws the next 2 in the gutter. Best shot she's thrown all day. Over about 19 at the arrows, out to about 8. 10 in the pit. How about another one? No, didn't quite catch it with her fingers at the bottom of the swing, so it doesn't quite get back. Leaves the 2-7. The left-hander's baby split. Every once in a while you see a right-hander leave it. Not too often, but catch the left side of the 2-pin. Or sometimes you can get it on that side, but sends the 2 around the 7 for a 169. It's going to be enough. Shane can't catch her. So Shane Schoenhofer's attempt at a 3-peat comes up short. This young man with a 212 is his best ever score, and a 567 for his best series. Gets a strike in the 10th. How many times have we talked about how the strikes seem to come a lot easier when the match is already lost or won, and all the pressure is off. Let's see another one. Gives it the big loft, but it still goes high and leaves the 310 baby split. That'll be his parting shot. And you can read his facial expression and body language and tell that Shane is disappointed. But he's got 3 victories to his credit at the KCO this season. I'd say he's bowling pretty well. Making the stepladder finals once again. But guess what? It's Lily Fuhr who's now won her second match. And she's moving into the championship match to face Curtis Jones for the KCO Division 5 title. So Shane Schonifer's attempt to three-peat comes up short. And I think as he looks back at it, he'll find that a failure to convert his spares was the cause. He missed 4 single-pin spares. If he covers those, the match swings the other way. So while he's home in Chanute at his family's bowling center, I suspect this would be a good time for him to work on his spares. But today, it's Lily Fuhr who has won 2 matches and now finds herself bowling for the championship against Prodigy first-timer Curtis Jones of DeSoto, Kansas. Curtis has only bowled in one other KCO this season, the adult youth doubles event in Belton last month. So to say he's an unknown quantity would be a bit of an understatement. He's only been bowling about a year, but here he is in the pole position at the KCO. Meanwhile, Lily Fuhr has been knocking on the door for a while. One of these two will taste victory in the next 20 minutes, and in so doing, will qualify for the Prodigy Tournament of Champions in June. And I have a funny feeling Curtis Jones doesn't even know what that is, but if he wins, he'll find out. Crosses over, leaves the 5. As you can see, Curtis getting 1 pin of handicap, Lily getting none. Curtis opens with a spare. And as you can see, he has decided to pursue the two-handed art of bowling. Already with a pretty good rev rate. Oh, no! Lily right through the heart. And the 6, 7, 10. Wide open split. Here's how you make it. Put the ball way over on the right edge of the 6 pin and slide it across. Well, she just got a little too much of the 6 pin. Now that she's got that straight ball / backup ball in her bag of tricks, she'll make a 6, 7, 10 every once in a while. Although I'm sure she'd rather not leave it. Look out. Oh my goodness. How did she do that? I thought she had pulled that one left of left. But it goes right through the nose. And she gets the old Jersey squasher. Watch this, right in the heart. And they all just part like the Red Sea. That was a pretty good trick. And I'll tell you what, Curtis Jones got away with one that time. That was through the nose as well. Looked like it was going to be a 4-9, but the 9 goes out and he leaves just a 4-7. This young man has been bowling about a year, maybe a little less. His favorite pro bowler, Belmo. And he would love to be a pro bowler one day. He's obviously got a ways to go, but everybody's got to start somewhere. He's already got a 270 to his credit, so I think you can plainly see he throws enough ball if he can just get lined up and hit what he's looking at. sure can make the pins dance. Breaks down the 2-8, leaves just the 8-pin on a light hit. His high series, 639, so you can see that while that 270 is a nice high game, he's still got some consistency issues to iron out, but he can do it. Covers the 8 by the hair on his chinny chin chin, but he gets it nonetheless. And now Lily, up on the right lane, takes a big, deep breath. Crossing over once again. I tell you what, if Lily would move just a little further to the left and move her eyes at the arrows a little further to the left so that the ball stays in the oil a little farther down the lane, it won't hook as early and it will stay to the right of the headpin, hit the pocket. But I got to tell you, I am impressed with the progress she's made just shooting spares. I mean, when you're a 139 and below average bowler, spares are everything. And she has really gotten better at it. There you go. That was a good shot. Didn't quite have the kick at the end to snap out the 10, but we've seen her throw this backup ball at the 10 pin before. Let's see if she does that again. I bet she does. The players on our left, that's Division 4 on lanes 1 and 2. Players on our right on lanes 5 and 6. Division 3, we'll tell you how their step ladders played out at the end of the show as Lily covers that 10 pin. And now Curtis Jones, he also plays baseball and football. An all-around athlete. And boy, he can get those pins to disappear in a hurry, can't he? Very impressive. Four-step approach. The ball's right under his head at the bottom of the swing. I like that. Then at the top of his swing, he's actually got it to the left of his head. That's okay, because he's opened his angles. And then the ball's a little left of his head at release. That's good, too. Better to be left than right of the head at the bottom of the swing. But I tell you what, he sure doesn't bring that ball back very far. That ball doesn't even get belt high at the top of his swing. It's very short swing, very controlled. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a kid we had in Georgia named Josh Collins, who had a very short backswing. And I tell you what, he developed into one of the best junior bowlers in Georgia. But in Josh's case, that short backswing meant more control. And Curtis still needs to learn some control, as you can't be missing easy single pin spares like that and expect to win a championship. So Lily Fuhr takes the lead sitting on the bench, and now she's up working on a spare. Comes in just a pinch high, leaves the 4-pin. That tightens the match a little. Just one pin separating the two of them. Always love a close match. Boy, she has been just rock solid on those left side spares for the most part today. It's all going to come down to the final 5 frames. She really got around that one, so it snapped pretty hard on the back end and leaves a split the 310. Now that straight ball or backup ball that she has learned to throw should come in very handy here. Oh, but she goes down the right side of the lane. Lily should have thrown that one down the left side, straight at the right side of the 3-pin. But you live and learn. The lead passes back to Curtis. This is far from over. Wow. Wow. Maybe the best shot he's thrown this afternoon. 4-step approach, little drift to the left, like you see all the power players do nowadays. That ball never got outside of 10. I think it got to maybe 12 at its widest point. That's what I'm talking about, keeping it in the oil. Oh my goodness, he didn't even get it that far to the right. And he just pulled it left of target and got away with it. But watch this. This ball's going to be left of the head pin. And what happens next is in the hands of the bowling gods. Timber! I'd rather be lucky than good. Pretty good shot by Lily. Just came in a little high. Leaves the 4-7. I've mentioned it before. She's been real good with these left side spares today. And she covers this again. And she takes the seat. Well, we've got a pin missing on the left lane. There's no 9-pin on lane 3. So we'll have to reset the rack. Here you go. Sweep them off the deck and give us all 10. There you go. I don't love that rack. That 3-pin looks like it's a little off spot to the right. Oh my. Well, that is unfortunate because she was on a spare, so she loses 5 pins in count off her score. Needs to make it. Oh, she crosses over, leaves the sleeper 8. And that puts Curtis in a commanding position, leading by 38 pins, working on a double. Up in the 8. It's getting late. Oh! Well, that looked pretty good for a pretty long period of time, and then it hit a little high in the pocket, and up pops the double, the 4-9. Here's how you make it. Put the ball on the left edge of the 4-pin, slide it over into the 9. But Curtis hits too full on the 4-pin, so an open frame tightens the match a little. Now the lead is just 24 with 2 frames left. And I think you'd have to say this is still anybody's match. Curtis, unproven in this circumstance. Boy, he threw a good one there, right in the pocket. It just a little high, leaves the 4. Now we're going to find out what kind of spare shooter he is. It's one thing to make them when there's not that much heat on, but when you're down to the end of a championship match and you got to make it, The seal of victory. Let's see what you're made of. Good shot. Excellent. Situation is this. Lily, with strikes in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, can shoot 178. That would force Curtis to mark. Well, I don't know what weight that ball is, but it looks like when it hits the pins, it almost stops. It must be a pretty light ball. Anyway, she leaves the 4-7. See if she can keep her string going, making these left side spares. Oh, that's got a hook. That's got a hook. So now the best she can do is 156. Curtis is sitting at 152 before he even throws a ball on the 10th. And with no strike there, it means Curtis Jones has won the tournament in Division 5. Lily's attempt to grab her first tournament victory at the KCO comes up a little short this time, but she's going to take away a lot of positives from this experience. She bowled pretty well today. And Curtis Jones has got to be just in the clouds. That's a 6 count to finish, so she's going to finish with a 142. Not what she'd hoped for, but still above her average. But now Curtis Jones can take a victory lap here in the 10th frame. Puts it through the nose, leaves the 3-9. This young man shares a birthday with a very famous Prodigy alum, Hunter Moffett. Hunter is 1 year older than Curtis, but they both share the same birthday. And now they both share something else. They're both Prodigy champions. In just his second attempt at the KCO, Curtis Jones takes the title in Division 5 at the April Point Tournament. And we'll visit with him and get him to sign the coveted trophy pin next. Well, Lily Fuhr had quite a run today, winning 2 matches and eventually bowling for the championship. But whether she ran out of gas or just made a couple too many mistakes at the end, her quest for a title came up just a little short. But I'm impressed with the improvements she's made since the last time we had her on Prodigy, and I know there's no quit in her, so she'll be back. But today, it's a first-timer on Prodigy Bowlers Tour that broke through to claim the Division 5 title. For a kid who's only been bowling about a year, Curtis Jones shows some promise. And now he has something nobody can ever take away. He can claim that he's a champion. And you know what champions do? They sign the coveted trophy pin. But before we get him to do the honors, it's time you meet him. We have a new face in the winner's circle on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. It's Curtis Jones. Where are you from, Curtis?
DeSoto, Kansas.
DeSoto, Kansas. I should have known by the shirt. We've had some other kids wearing that shirt that were from DeSoto. So this is your second KCO, and boy, did you make a splash today. What were you thinking out there on the lanes?
Just bowling. So next shot. Don't get mad at your misses. Just next frame's next frame.
That's a great attitude to have. Well, so with only a couple of tournaments under your belt, you must kind of like this. That's awesome. Okay, well, here's the deal. When you win on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, you get to sign the coveted trophy pin. We have a whole box of pins over here for you to choose from. And then having won on Prodigy,
Please, Michelle.
you also are now eligible to bowl in the Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions at the end of the season. The winner of that will win the pin, and we might have a couple of other little awards to give out. But go ahead and put your name on there and put today's date on there. It's April 6th. That's 4/6. And so, what's going through your mind when you're in the championship match, bowling for a title in just your second tournament? Are you scared? Are you excited? Are you... What are you thinking?
The nerves are there. But after the first shot, I know I'm doubting. I know it's bad happening.
Well, congratulations. You did great today.
Thank you, sir.
As I mentioned earlier, the group bowling to our left on lanes 1 and 2 were the Division 4 finalists. And here's how their stepladder played out. In the opening match, the 5 seed, Cameron Aarons, defeated the 4 seed, who you met on Prodigy recently, Ellie Blyenberg, 176 to 149. Then in match 2, Cameron Aarons continued her winning ways over the 3 seed, Gavin Meyer, 153 to 145. In match 3, the 2 seed, Bella Gonzalez, cut short Cameron Aarons' march to the top, 182 to 158, setting up the championship match where Bella looked to win again after she ran the stepladder on Prodigy recently. But on this day, it was Kasten Meyer who tossed an impressive 226 scratch, 242 net against Bella's 148. So it was Kasten Meyer who came away the top dog in Division 4. So congratulations to Kasten, the Division 4 champion. Then, as I mentioned earlier, the bowlers to our right on lanes 5 and 6 were the Division 3 bowlers, and their stepladder played out like this. In the opening match, 2 Prodigy alums, the 5 seed Grace Coleman and the 4 seed Jade Fleming, squared off, and it was Jade Fleming who took the opening match 180 to 145. But in match 2, the 3 seed Dalton Springer put an end to Jade's hopes of running the stepladder as Dalton took match 2 187 to 162. Then in match 3, Dalton kept it going, taking a close one from the 2 seed, Gage Patrick, 200 to 191. And in the championship match, it was the tournament leader, little Cortland Worrell, who got the best of Dalton Springer, 184 to 176. I asked Dalton how it felt getting beat by a half pint, and he said he thought it was pretty cool, and then wanted to take a selfie with Cortland. Cortland Worrell is one of our favorites here at Prodigy Bowlers Tour, and hopefully we'll get him on the show one of these days soon. So congratulations to Cortland Worrell, the Division 3 champion. Both he and Kasten Meyer in Division 4 and all KCO champions this season are eligible for the Prodigy Tournament of Champions in June. More about that on our future shows. On our next edition of Prodigy Bowlers Tour, you'll see the championship round in Division 1 at the April Point Tournament here in Leavenworth. Then in May, we'll be back in St. Joseph, Missouri for the May Point Tournament, the final point tournament of the season before the KCO's big final event in June, so you'll likely be looking at an event next season, which will start up in September. We'll keep you posted here on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. If you like this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. You know, about 75% of you watching the show don't subscribe to the channel. It's free, and it really helps us grow the channel. So hit that red subscribe button, and remember to share the video with friends on social media. If you'd like to contribute to support the work that goes into producing Prodigy Bowlers Tour, become a Prodigy patron. For just $5 a month, you get early access to our full-length episodes of Prodigy. And for $10 a month, you get early access and you get your name in the show's closing credits as an executive producer. You know, like the bigwigs do in Hollywood. Go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/PRODIGY Prodigy Bowlers Tour and follow the prompts to become a patron. To keep up with all things Prodigy, join our Facebook group. From any page on Facebook, type Prodigy Bowlers Tour into the search bar and hit enter. That'll take you to a page where you can submit a request to join the group. But remember, when you do, you'll be presented with 3 screening questions. If you don't answer them, we'll assume you're a spam bot and you'll be declined. So be sure to answer those screening questions if you want to join the group. So that's a wrap this time from Leavenworth, Kansas, where we'll be back for episode 167 and the Division I finals at this same tournament. So until then, this is Coach Randy reminding you to stay behind the foul line and keep kicking out the corner pins, not the foul lights or ball returns. And I'll talk to you on the next edition of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, go get your bowl on.